Well, thank you so much. I'm with the Lee family from Chaseburg, and Reagan is here, and Travis is here, and baby Warren is here. Hi, you guys. Thanks
Hello.
for coming in. Okay, Mom, what we're going to have to do is you're going to have to take that microphone and you're going to have to hold it by your. There you go. And Warren is going to have to go to Daddy. See, we got this all figured out. Thanks, you guys, for making the trip in today.
Of course.
So, Warren's introduction to life was the birth was a little
Was rough.
was rough.
It was a rough journey for him to get here.
Can you
yes.
tell us about it?
Yep. So I actually was overdue by 10 days. So I went in on a Saturday to be induced, and everything went great. Was in labor for about 32 hours. And then, of course, that pushing time came. And after about 2.5 hours, I was exhausted, and he just was not coming.
Okay.
He was stuck. So the doctor came in and said, if you want him out, we'll just have to go into for a C-section. And I didn't really have a birth plan, so to say, but I was open to what needed to happen.
Okay.
So after we got into the OR, all that good stuff happened. But then the scary part started to come. When they took him out, he wasn't breathing, nor did he have a heartbeat.
He wasn't breathing.
He wasn't breathing.
Okay, so you're having a C-section.
Yep.
And did you know what was going on?
Yes and no.
Okay.
I knew because I was awake for the whole procedure.
Okay.
But far
Travis could see what was going on?
for the most part, they have that curtain up.
Right.
But
Right.
yeah, he was in the room with me
And
as
he
well.
was aware that your newborn wasn't breathing.
Correct.
Okay.
Nor did he have that heartbeat for the first 4 minutes.
Okay.
So at minute 2, the NICU team started pushing oxygen to
Okay.
him. And then at minute 4, they got his heartbeat back. So that was probably the longest 4 minutes of Trav's life, I'm sure. But in my head, I heard him cry. So I thought everything was fine. And then they wrapped him up and took him to the NICU just for further testing to make sure that everything was okay. And everything was okay when he got to the NICU. But at hour 5 of his life, he started to have neonatal seizures. And when he would have them, he would stop breathing. So, of course, now I'm down in postpartum. He's in the NICU across the hallway. And the doctors come into our room at 2 o'clock in the morning and let us know that this is happening. Well, I had been up for how many hours before that, so I was out of it, heard it, but I didn't comprehend it. So then, in that morning, the next morning I woke up and we went down to the NICU to find that he was on a cooling blanket. And the cooling blanket is a process, it's a 72-hour process, uninterrupted. So what that helps is to preserve his brain, so to say, because of the seizures, as well as the rest of the organs. But what was hard is, you're supposed to hold your baby after you have him, and I couldn't. I couldn't touch him.
Was that one of the worst things that happened to you as a mother?
That was one. Yep. It was hard. But then I started talking to him, and he looked over at me with his eyes open, and I thought, wow, my baby knows my voice. That moment right there was so beyond exciting. But unfortunately, it was him having a seizure. And when he would have them, he would stop breathing. So he's turning blue right in front of me. Thank God for those nurses up there because they're quick. They're really quick, and they sprang into action, and they got him back. So
The word terrifying is hitting me right now, but that's what I'm thinking. What were you thinking when you saw your baby not breathing?
I don't even know if I was thinking. I was just praying that it would pass and that things would be fine.
This is really tough for you to share the story, but you know what? With you sharing the story right now, you're allowing us into your family. You're allowing us to share in some of the events that you went through.
Yep.
And the other thing you're doing is giving us the good news, because there is good news.
There is.
And tell us what's happening with his medication right now.
There is. So when he was 3 months, July 28th, he had a EEG to measure the brain waves. And it was about a 45-minute process. And after everything was done, Dr. Temple, the neurologist, read that screening and everything came back good. He did not have any seizure activity during that test. So he said, let's start weaning him off the medication. And the medication he was on was a daily process. So that was hard in itself too, because we have 2 other boys at home that are school age. So to do homework, and then to remember the medicine, and then just our nighttime routine, it's a lot. It's a lot to remember.
When traumatic events happen, regular life still goes on.
Yes.
And
that
trying to
doesn't
make
stop.
everything work together. That's a lot for you to do. So now the medication, Warren
gone.
is off
It's
it right
off
now?
as of September. Last week of September was his last dosage that he needed to take. And during that process of weaning him off, he didn't have any seizure activity. And to this day, he has not had one yet either. Hopefully he doesn't have another one. Hopefully May 16th was the last one. And hopefully it stays like that in the books.
Do you feel like you can leave the house and go out and go grocery shopping or go out for dinner together? Are you to that point now where you feel like you can leave for a little bit?
Yeah. Yep. And we have done that. We needed some of the us time again to, just to recollect our thoughts and be strong for him and the other 2 boys as well.
So Warren is 5 months old.
Yep.
And what I was going to say is let's shoot for 5 calls and see what we can do. You know what? We already have 6.
Oh my God.
So we're going to have to go to 10, I think is what we're going to do. Because the goal that I was formulating, you must have lots of people that love you, and you have lots of people that have been calling, and I'm sorry this is so hard on you.
No, this is
It's
awesome.
it's awesome
you, everyone.
that you came in and you're sharing the story, you guys. And let's remind them of a phone number. Okay, we'll do a little housekeeping, 781-1477 and 1-800-853-6889. There's the phones ringing again. So can you tell us what Children's Miracle Network Hospital did for your family? Can we go through, is that okay?
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
So, like you said, we live in Chaseburg, so the boys were still in school when he was born. So after we would get him on the bus, we would come directly here. And this was a process that we did for the 8 days that he was in the NICU. So that's a lot of driving to and from.
It is a lot of driving.
And one of the social workers came in and said, do you need help with that? Do you need help with any gas? And it was like, well, it would be nice, but do we take it? Do we not take
Right,
it?
right.
And there's others that were worse than him that were in the NICU. So guilt kind of came into play a little bit there, but she said, but this is what it's for. Do it. Just apply for it and see what happens. And we did, and they sent us a gift card for gas, and that was wonderful, helpful. And then also when we were here, obviously it was 8 o'clock that we would get here. We wouldn't leave till 5. So there's those meals in between that we had to eat too to keep our energy up. And
But you don't think of that, do
No.
you?
Oh, gosh,
Because
no.
Mom and Dad are kind of,
Yeah,
you're
we're on
not
the
in the
back
top
burner.
5 half the time.
Yeah, we're on the back burner. Our energy was all put towards him and making sure that he had what he needed and just the love that we needed to give him. So they would give us the food vouchers as well for the lunch and the dinners. And, they're $5, but that $5 goes a long way. And it's amazing how giving this network is. It's the little things that count. The little things add up to the big things.
Well, and big things are happening because as you're telling your story, and we're hitting the highs and we're hitting the lows, we've got a high right now of 8 calls. We have 8 calls coming in.
Thank you,
and so,
everyone.
the goal, like I said, the goal was going to be 5, and then we went to, beyond that.
Keep it coming,
And now we
keep it
thought, well, let's
coming.
just double it. And so now we're at 8 right now. And the Castle Realty team over there on our phone bank, brought to you by the Blood Center of Wisconsin, I can see lots of chatter going on over there. So I think big things are happening because I'm seeing them right down. And that's because you guys came in today and you touched the hearts of our listeners. Because our listeners have huge hearts.
Yes.
They really do. And they get behind and they support every year. Children's Miracle Network hospitals don't know what we would do without them. You didn't know you needed them.
No, because again, that was not part of the birth plan. None of this was part of the birth plan, and to be now part of this family, like you said before, it's opened my eyes to, okay, there are things that happen in this life that we can't plan for, but there's support behind it, and we'll get through it as a family.
So do you feel like what you've gone through just in the last 5-6 months, you would be able to maybe help somebody else who's going through similar situations? Would you be able to speak to that and maybe give them a little, you know what, been there,
Done
maybe
that.
this will help you? Do you feel like you can do that?
In a heartbeat. In a heartbeat. That's
Did
the
you
point
have
of-
anybody that was able to mentor you along the way? Do you recall probably some of the staff here?
Oh my Lord! Yes, he had two. All the nurses that he worked with were amazing. Since we were here during the day, we had more bonding time with the day nurses, and I have to say, Nurse Jenny and Nurse Allie were the two that we bonded strongly with. All of those nurses up there are angels on this world. On this earth, they literally have wings, and it's amazing.
How about we ask people to call in? Oh, let's see. Grandma Carla? Grandma Carla's been on the phone.
Lord.
Grandma! We love grandmas, don't we? What would we do? How would we get through?
Oh, you said grandma. She's gonna tell us that. Oh man, it's got to be Lala. No, which is fine.
Okay,
which is fine.
because you know what? We
it's-
don't want to mess that up.
No, it's okay. We joke with her too, grandma. But the other two older boys have always called her Lala. So
Okay, well, that sounds great to me. And
Thank
we're
you,
going to
Lala.
finish strong because we're going to get 2 more calls. And we thank you so much for picking up the phone at 781-1477, 1-800-853-6889. How about hearing from moms and dads who's not had a night's sleep in the last year and a half? There we go. Now the phones are ringing. Let's get a little sleep at night, And that's one of those luxuries we were talking about. All of a sudden, especially if your child is not well, you do not sleep well at night.
No.
And your baby, first of all, is going to be keeping you up to begin with.
Yep.
And Dad, you got to drive for a living, and sometimes you're dragging. So let's hear it from moms and dads who would love to get a little bit of sleep at night. 781-1477. And I think we only need one more call because I think we got number 9. Do you see
Good.
what's happening here?
Yes.
We're going to do this. We're doing
gonna
this
get it.
together. It's not
One
me.
more.
It's you guys coming in with Warren. Where did Warren go, by the way? I think he's out taking a walk with Heather.
He
Oh,
probably
there
is.
he is. Balloons are a wonderful thing, aren't they?
yes, he got
And-
the nickname Warren the Warrior while
Oh,
he was
how
in
did
the
that
NICU.
happen?
Just each and every day, Grandpa Doug just called in.
Okay, now
Awesome.
Grandpa Doug just called in.
Yes.
You have
That's a
a
good
wonderful
one for
family,
Grandpa.
you two. Very supportive. Oh, it's okay, honey. I know. We love our family. Okay, Dad, you said no. Here's the mic. That's what we're going to do. You know what? You got to jump in once in a while. And apparently, you're jumping in right this very minute. We've got one more call to make. How about some of your coworkers? Should we put that out there right now? I see that company you work for. It's G&K, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
How about some coworkers calling in? Not while they're driving.
No, pull
Okay.
over and call in, guys.
See, pull over and call in. Let's keep this a safe thing. We don't want anything happening like that. We'll let Mom recoup here. You've been a trooper. I know where the warrior part came from.
Yeah.
I can see that right now. 781-1477 or 1-800-853-6889. It's the Children's Miracle Network Radiothon. And did you know that right now, if you go up about 2 or 3 floors, there's 22 babies that are here at the hospital right now. That's our baby count here. And there's probably some moms and dads that may not have any idea that some help from Children's Miracle Network would be something that will really get them over the hump. They may not know that. And, when we talked about the food vouchers and taking care of ourselves, we don't do that. We're worried about what's in that bassinet. That's what we're worried about. And it's amazing, I think, that now that the medication has reduced, and now we talked about it a little earlier, Warren, he's eating just fine. He's eating fine, and he's sleeping a little bit.
A little bit.
Oh, John Stevenson has him right now. Okay.
Got to get a picture of that.
Well,
here.
let me call your wife, John, so she can get the formula. There you go. One big family around here, and that's what we are. And Castle Realty Group, how are we doing over there, everybody? Okay. One more call. We're waiting for one more call to come in, and we will get that. And we're going to keep working at it. But you know what? I think what we're going to let you do is let you guys go out, and you have to go back to work, my friend. Right?
Oh, yeah.
We got you off for a few hours. I think you're going to have to go back at it. I can't thank you so much for stopping in and sharing your story today. I know it was tough.
Yep.
I know it was tough.
Yep.
But things are looking up.
They are.
Things are good. And there's your phone call, you guys.
Thank you.
There
There's
it
number
is.
10.
All right. We thank you so much. You're listening to the Children's Miracle Network Radiothon, a service of the La Crosse Radio Group.